النعم هادي الأمم بشريعته كنز الكرم مولى النعم هادي الأمم.
I don't know if I'll be here next week.
Will you be here in 2 weeks?
Because I can't come like every week.
I'm here every week.
Are you?
I'm here every
So the
week.
next time she comes,
Yes,
then we'll do it.
we can
But
talk
be
about it.
prepared. Be prepared by next
Yeah,
week.
yeah, yeah. So it's alright with you, yeah? I'm sorry.
Just called me a Nazi. I'd quite like to pick up on that.
What I said was, let me clarify what I said.
Right, no, you would say that was quite a big claim, quite a big thing to
can
say.
I clarify what
Full
I
of
said?
wait, no, let me finish. Full of anti-Muslim bigotry and hatred,
yes, exactly.
because I wrote an article about the hijab.
Yes.
So can you quote me something from that article?
Well, I don't have the article.
So
I don't have the
you
article
shouldn't
here.
really say that.
Let me
You shouldn't
explain.
say that.
No, I do say
Okay,
it.
unless you've got
In front of
quotes
the
here,
camera.
because actually that could even get me prosecuted from what you're saying.
If it does, my
Okay?
dear. You should be careful what you say.
So you should really
You should be careful what you
You
say.
should really bring it. Okay?
No,
Because
I
I
will.
haven't had anybody tell me that. apart
No
from
one
you.
reads your articles, but no Muslims read your articles. It's
Apart from- you're a Muslim,
understandable.
are you Muslim?
Of course I am.
And you've read my article?
Yeah, one
So
day.
you just said no Muslims read
No,
my
apart
articles.
from me. Apart from me. No, can I explain why? I've seen how the Jews were treated by the Nazis in the 1930s. What we're seeing in Europe today, particularly among some extremist Christian groups, as is represented here, is an increased hatred and polemic towards towards Muslims. And we see that in articles she's written. If you read the article on the hijab, it's full of the most appalling misrepresentation and lies
Yeah,
about
should I tell you
Muslims.
what I quoted? Because I can tell you actually
Yeah.
what I quoted. I quoted this surah. If you want to go to the Founder website, you can, and look up my blog. It's on the hijab. Do read it for yourself. And actually, I've got to be fair. If you agree with Paul, then just write a note on the Founder Facebook page, because I'd really like to come back to that properly. All right? So,
Shall we have a debate about
so
this?
Let's talk
About Islamophobia in Europe. Shall we debate about Islamophobia? You and I, here on camera, it's a public invitation now to you. Shall we debate the Christian Islamophobia and European Islamophobia towards Muslims in Europe, and how, unfortunately, your ministry is contributing to this? I will debate you on Premier Radio, Speakers Corner, a telephone studio. Will you accept my challenge to debate?
Not something I need to think about.
Yeah. Do come back to me.
Think about it.
I will debate anywhere on radio, television, and Speakers Corner about the rising Islamophobia in Europe and how certain Christian groups, extremist groups, are contributing to the hatred towards Muslims in this country. And I will provide evidence, testimony, quotations, and citations from a whole range of literature. It's all online of how people like yourself and other extremists are demonizing Muslims in the West.
So tell me exactly. So you put me in that group. Okay?
It is a hate group. It is a hate group. You belong to a hate group. A hate group.
Right. Show us
A hate
what
group.
we've done that's been full of hate.
Your article.
Show us what we've done that's
Jay
been full
Smith
of
is very
hate.
good at every Sunday. He
Show
does
us.
it every Sunday.
Show-
But your
You
article
haven't
on the
given us
hijab,
anything
yes,
specific.
your article on the hijab is full of hatred towards Muslims, analogous to the way many Nazis spoke about the Jews in the 1930s. I will debate this with you on radio or television. Will you accept your debate?
You have not brought my article with you.
No, I've
You
read it
haven't
though.
brought
I've read
but
it.
You've made lots of claims,
Yes.
lots of very extreme, very
No.
unkind claims
No, they're
that I
factually
cannot
true.
defend
They're factually
because
true.
you're also not making specific statements
No, I don't.
about
I'm
what's
just
in
walking
there
by
that's
my
full
dear.
of
I don't have
hatred.
the article. I'm telling you, I read it 2 days
I'm not
ago,
your dear.
and it reminded me of what Goebbels wrote about the Jews. It was full of hate and venom towards Muslims. It lied and lied again.
Okay, so
And I will debate you. We can read this article in public. I will debate you in public, on television or on radio, about your writings and the way you lie and defame about Muslims. Do you accept? Do you accept my debate challenge? Do you accept my debate challenge?
told you earlier
Wherever
I
you
think
want.
about it.
Television, radio, Speakers Corner, as many cameras.
We can even set something up next week if you want.
Yep.
We can do it here.
Right.
But
Good.
listen,
You'll accept my debate.
People need to know that everything you have done, you have sourced it. You have sourced it in the traditions. You have sourced it.
No.
Now, if they want to call that hate, then I would
No.
redefine
Jay,
it. Because we have to
her
do
very
that.
first
We've
sentence
got to
talks
source to
about
make sure that we
how
source it.
evil
We do
Islam is because it requires women to wear the hijab. It fails to mention the reason why Muslims wear the hijab. It's because of modesty.
Oh, is
He
it?
fails to
Is
mention.
it?
Do you mention
Shall
that
I-
in your
shall I
blog?
read you what's
Do you
in your
mention that in
Quran?
your Do you
Okay.
mention that in your blog about modesty? Do you mention that in your
I'd like to-
article?
no,
I've
because
asked
I
you a
think we need
question.
to go back to your
I asked you a
scriptures.
question. Do
We
you
need to go back
mention
to your
the
scriptures.
reason why women are obliged
Yes,
to
I quote this
in
surah.
your
I quote
blog?
this
Do you
surah.
mention modesty?
Okay.
My question to you,
I
asked you a question.
Listen,
Do you mention modesty?
Did you go to Al-Bukhari to
doesn't.
support why?
She
Did
doesn't
you not go to
mention the
Al-Bukhari
reasons
and you went to
why.
Sahih Muslim? Did you not? So you went back to
Not
their
on my
authority
blog,
to
but I
find the
did go,
context of why this verse was revealed.
Let
Surah
me show
33,
you.
ayah
Like,
59.
Let me
it's
show
like
you.
Nazis quoting the Talmud. They go to selected bits of the Talmud and they say, look how evil the Jews are.
Can
Jay
you be
Smith
quiet for 1
and
minute?
I
Because you're-
finish.
because you're
Go
calling
to
me a
selected
Nazi
bits of
over
the
and over
Quran
again.
and the Hadith, like the Nazis did with the Jews,
When
to
we- listen,
demonize
we're putting this
Muslims,
up- we'll put
to
this up probably
demonize
tomorrow,
men
right?
and women who
I
follow
want
the
people to
Islamic
go up
faith.
and I want people to see
that's what
whether or
you
not
do.
you've done that.
And that's what you do.
He Nazi over and over again.
Yes,
with no
you're
proof.
like them.
He's not cited anything that I've written.
I have.
He's not given me any quotations, nothing like that. He just calls me a Nazi and an extremist.
You are.
Listen,
So I'm not
You're
gonna
part of
engage
it
with
of an
you.
extremist
I'm
hate
not
group.
gonna engage with
You're
you.
both part of an extremist hate group. And where Jay LIZZY Shaw's
and this is
to
going
go
to be
back to where he's
fascinating.
come
How
from.
now criticizing the Quran is known as fascist, hatred, and Nazism.
No.
Anytime we
I'm
criticize the
talking about
Quran,
her
anytime we
writings.
criticize the
That
Christians,
she
we're going
fails
to have
to
this kind of
mention- she fails to
Islamophobic
mention
rhetoric that
why
comes up. They only have
women
one
wear the
narrative.
hijab.
They don't want to
The
defend it.
Muslims.
They only want to abuse
doesn't
ad
mention
hominem
that.
against us.
All he does
Now, what
is
we
to-
say to people, go and watch tomorrow when we put this up online. Go and see if she does fall under those rubrics.
She does.
And
You
if
will
I
find
do,
that she does
I
not.
want to know
She
about
does.
it because actually
Let's
I
have
take
a
it very
debate.
seriously.
Let's have a
I'm
debate.
not someone that hates
You agreed to have a
Muslims.
debate.
Wait a minute, I love
You are
Muslims
invited.
and I want them to
No,
be
you
saved
don't. You
forever by
hate
Jesus
Muslims.
Christ. That's why
You
I'm
lie.
Smiling.
because I
Deal
love
of
Muslims.
Paul.
You hate
I love
Muslims.
Paul.
Listen, deal of
I
Paul.
love Paul like I love my husband.
I
You love me.
Paul, too.
Do you love
him
me?
God
because
bless
he's
you,
made
yes.
in the image of God.
Give me a hug.
Thank
We
you.
all
He's
love
made in the image
you.
of God. There you go. Leave it. He's made in the
Shake a hand.
even though he
Thank
even though
you.
he called me a Nazi.
Even though as a
I love
Muslim,
man.
this woman
Because
represents a hate
I
group.
want
I will still shake her hand and give her a hug, even though she represents a hate group and lies against Muslims.
Can you see now?
This is
If you
Islam.
criticize
This is
Islam,
Islam.
it's hatred. You can criticize Christianity,
You lie
and we
about
love you.
Islam.
Criticize us all you want. Criticize Jesus. Criticize the Bible. We will still love you and not call you names. Come on back to Jesus, folks. He wins every one of these debates. If the only defense you have is that we're being hateful, then I feel sorry for Islam, and I feel sorry for your defense. Get a better defense.
We'll see you next
Stop
week.
saying
We'll have a
Islamophobia
debate.
all the
We'll have a
time.
debate.
Get used to criticizing Muslims. Get used to it.
Have a debate then.
Many people in the media,
We've won this
the
debate.
Guardian newspaper and others have noticed a growing neo-fascist trend
They cannot
of people
take
like
criticism.
yourself, part of hate groups who hate Muslims.
We do it. This
stand
is
by
the
that.
narrative.
I
You're a
stand by
hateful
that.
person who hates Muslims. You love Muslims, but
The
you
evidence,
think
the evidence
because you're
says that.
criticizing
Jay,
their
shake my hand,
authority.
Jay.
Because
Shake
you're
my hand.
criticizing their authority.
Jay,
I love you,
Jay,
Paul.
I love you too, Jay. Even though
But I do
you
not
hate
like
Muslims,
Islam,
even
and
though
I
you
do
hate
not like
Muslims.
your prophet, and I do not like your God, and I don't like your Quran. But that makes me a hateful man. Thank God at Speaker's Corner we can do that.
Hallelujah. Praise Jesus.
God bless you.
Bye-bye, Jay. Bye, Jay.
Go on,
See
that's
you
the
next
next
week for
one.
a
Do you
debate.
love me?
On radio, television, not next week. Jay can contact me, television, radio. I will go on Islamophobia
face
and
like
Christian
that.
right in Europe. And we'll talk about your article. Bye-bye. Oh, really?
Yeah, and she ran off early, they didn't like it.
Well, they're haters. They hate Muslims. They hate Muslims.
No. She ran off as soon as Dr. James White was
You
being
know
called
they're
balanced.
by their actions.
He was being.
Not by their words, but what they do. What they do is they hate. We hear from their words what they do. Their fruits.
Why did you run off? Why did you run off? Why did you run off Saturday? Why did you run off Saturday?
No, she won't debate me. No. Because what she's written is online, and what the hateful remarks she makes are on that blog, and I want to. Well, if she wants to defend that in public, I'm happy to do that. But what she is like, it reminds me. The Guardian newspaper recently wrote about the rise of Neo-fascism in Europe, and some Christians are piggybacking on behalf of to attack Islam and Muslims, and that's what they're a hate group. They're a hate group.
I got some real in my bag.
But I'm happy to debate them on Islamophobia in Europe, and these Christians are now contributing to the hatred of Muslims in Europe. by what they do, by what they say, by what they write, by what they speak. And I'm happy to bring evidence from the internet, which I have read, to read out this stuff in front of people, and you make your own minds up. And you say this is loving people. It's not, it's hating Muslims. Well, on their blog. She has her own blog. It's particularly on the hijab. It's full of it says horrible things. It's just like the way Goebbels spoke about Jews. Jews are these horrible creatures, and Muslims, they're horrible. The way they do this, it's horrible things. And nowhere in the article does it give the reason why Muslim women and Muslim men are required to dress in a certain way. It's because of modesty. It's because of modesty. It's a beautiful virtue of Islam, and they fail to mention this because they want to deprecate and slander. They're not being fair. All right, they can disagree with Islam, fine, but at least criticize Islam, fine, but at least speak the truth and don't lie. Don't lie. And they are part of a hate group spreading lies and hatred, and we should stand up for these people. Now, fortunately, Jay Smith's going back to where he belongs. No, not hell, the United States. He's going back to America. He just said he was. Forever, yes. Well, he just said he's going back to the States soon. He just said that.
Did you see the way they presented it? The whole talk today, their talk was about hijab. But when they started, they said we're here to talk about the ban issued by the European Union, and we're
in favour of it.
Muslims, with the Muslims against it.
Oh, right, okay.
So then they went straight into why hijab is wrong.
I'm just saying that on her article, it was a vile attack on Muslims and Islam. And it's on the website. And I'm saying she fails to give a single reason why men and women are required to dress the way they do in Islam, and that is something modest. So there's no virtue in anything in Islam, according to her, and it's all evil and wicked and oppressing women. Terrible things she's saying. It's lies, lies, and lies. What it does in this environment in Britain and in the West today, this fuels and spreads hatred towards Muslims. There's an article, I think, in today's Independent or Guardian, which talks about a doubling of hate crimes against Muslims in this country in the first 3 months of 2017. It's double what it was the entire of 2016. And these people are fueling this. I mean, there's small fry. I'm not saying they caused it all. There's small fry, but they do contribute to it. They contribute to it. They add fuel to the fire because of the way they speak. They don't speak using a balanced and fair language. They use extremist rhetoric, which is why they're a hate group. And I say that publicly. They are a hate group.
Dr. James White,
James White is changing.
Yeah.
He's morphing into something more mainstream. And he used to be like this, but no. But unfortunately, Jay Smith and his disciples are still very much a hate group. And I label them as such, and I'm sure in America they will be banned or labelled as such as well. Because they contribute to the demonization and attacks on Muslims in this country. Physical attacks and verbal attacks. And they contribute to that by this poisonous atmosphere they create. Again, it's nothing to do with criticism of Islam. Criticism of Islam is perfectly within boundaries Islamically, as long as you do it for serious purposes and not because you're slandering someone. That's Islamically under Sharia is perfectly acceptable. What they're doing is completely different from that. And that's why I want to call them out with intent to defame and to lie and to deprecate, and that's why I call them out. So I'm happy to debate her in front of cameras, on radio and television, anytime of their choosing, on this issue of Islamophobia and their contribution to it, and because of what they say and what they write. And I will bring that evidence, and you can make your own mind up if this is fair or not. And believe me, you'll be shocked. Yeah. In the first line is appalling. I mean, if you change the word Muslim to Jew, if you just they'll be prosecuted for incitement to Jew hatred or anti-Semitism, whatever it's called. No, they would be. They were prosecuted because he's Muslim. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's all fair game.
Have you got his net?
I think they wouldn't bother doing that. I think they're too
scared to do it.
No, I don't think they bother.
They might do,
They're caught up in their own little righteous bubble. Yeah. They're not going to think, oh, maybe we should take it down. But I will happily, unhappily quote that passage to you, and you can see if it's inciting hatred towards Muslims or not.
How does it get? How would they share that with me? Facebook?
I'll send you the link.
Someone added it to the video.
Yeah, it's not on Facebook. It's on. They have a website run by Jay Smith, but she's written the essays, the articles. There are 4 of them, and I've only read one of them. The one on hijab. Once I read that, I thought, I won't read any more of this rubbish. So that was the one I read, and it's a very recent one. and you'll see. So she is a part of a hate group. We must label it as such and treat them as such, and giving them nice, giving them air time to be. Let's have a nice. They don't do that. They're there to spread hatred, and we should call them out.
Few good men to remain silent.
They can get away with it at Speaker's Corner, but let's see if they get away with it on air, on a radio. Let's see if they're not prosecuted.
Yeah.